It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the April 2nd board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chair recognizes Jim Frederickson.
I move that we go into a non-public session in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, Section 2.
Do you have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by citing your name. To go into non-public, Dick?
Alan, Greg, Like back there. Right back here. That is true. That's it right there. What's going on? Watch it.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. He's there. I think that's yeah. But I can't read it.
Three K-Prop on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nobody's home. Tomorrow night.
What?
Is the sound working now? Okay.
We're going to move the agenda around to go to public comment. So
Before that, I make a motion to seal the minutes from non-public for 10 years.
there's been a motion to seal the minutes for non-public for 10 minutes. Can I have a second?
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. All right. Good evening. The board entertains 30 minutes for public comment from citizens in accordance with the state law, RSA 189:74. In order to allow the greatest number of participants, each speaker will be allotted 2 minutes to speak. The right to know law requires that we keep a record of our meeting, so each speaker should identify themselves for the record and state the town than which they reside. All speakers are to conduct themselves in a civil manner. Obscenities, defamatory or violent statements will be considered out of order and will not be tolerated. Citizens are required to discuss ideas, opinions, policies, and positions to refrain from ad hominem attacks on other students, staff, or administrators, and when appropriate, to protect the privacy of other students and families. Anyone in the audience is obligated to respect the fact that a speaker has the floor. Anyone disrupting the business of this meeting will be warned. The second disruption may result in their being escorted from the meeting at my request. The board chair may terminate the speaker's privilege of address if the speaker does not follow these rules of order. This time is for public comment. The board's role is to listen, and the fact that the board does not respond during public comment should not be construed as either endorsement or disagreement with any public statement. The board also reserves the neutral body charged by law with affording the due process to its students, staff, and administrators. Hence, the board will not comment publicly on student or person-related matters. If there's someone who would like to make a public statement, please come forward. Sure. For the mic, please, because the people in the other room, right there in front of you. Should be a chair there also. Sure, and make sure the light on the mic is green. You have 2 minutes, please.
It's not green.
Okay.
Is it green now?
Yep.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. I just have 4 points to make, and I'm going to make it super quick, okay? My name is Kate Taylor, and I have 3 kids that go to the Conville School District. Okay, so I guess when I got the email that said Kevin wasn't getting his contract renewed, my stomach literally fell out. And the first thing I thought in my head was, who is so out of touch with our community that they don't understand what he means to all these kids? I literally felt sick. We can buy another athletic director, but there's no way that we can buy another Kevin Proctor. And I don't say that lightly. What he brings to our school, the culture, the love, there's no fake element to it. He just is what he is, and every kid respects it because they know that that's true. People make mistakes. You guys might have made a mistake. Maybe Kimberly made one. I don't know who made one, but even doctors make mistakes, and we can all have a chance to take that mistake and turn it around. We're all humans, or we all do things every day that we want to change, and this is an amazing opportunity to take this time. And obviously you see this room and all these kids, and you see the impact it has. And I know I'm making this sound way more simple than maybe it is, but you can literally just change your mind. And then we don't need to waste our energy, because it's all of our energy. We only have so much energy in a day, and we don't need to waste it on something that's good. Like, Kevin has these kids' backs, and it's good. So why would we replace something that's so amazing for our school? He's a gift. And, kids are wondering why I'm so riled up, because people like him just don't come along. And that's really all I have to say.
My name is Steve Dreyer. I live in Peterborough. I've lived in the Conval district for 26 years, and every single one of those years I made a point of going and voting for the school budget. The reason I did that is because I know that public school, in particular passionate, talented educators, can positively change students' lives. you had a passionate, talented educator working for you. And how do I know that? Well, I also teach at Salhegan High School. And so I had the pleasure of teaching with Kevin for many years. And I know what he brings. I've seen it day by day. I also have worked to try to hire school administrators, and I know how challenging that is, especially these days. So you are setting up whoever does follow Kevin for failure because he brings so much to the table. He's so loved. And like I think everyone in this room, I actually thought it was, my wife sent me the petition, and I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I actually did, and I said to her, that's not for 2 days. So I don't know. I agree. You've made a mistake. The only thing I'll say is people at Salhegan are saying maybe he'll come back here. Maybe they screwed it up so bad and he'll come back here because he's so beloved there as well. You've made a mistake, and it breaks my heart to see how much these students love him. This is incredible, and yeah, I think you should reconsider.
Hello, my name is Charlie Savage. I'm a resident of Sharon and I'm a senior at Conval High School. I'm also acting student body president. I was elected to speak on behalf of the student body, and therefore my words are not only the views of myself, but also of my peers. Community is a word that is not only expressed in our mission statement, but also by our core values as the first C in the CARES acronym. If you believe that Mr. Proctor does not exemplify community building, then I encourage you to take a look at around you and ask yourself, when was the last time this many teenagers took an interest in a school board issue? This community has proven time and again that we deeply care about Mr. Proctor, as he has shown us that he cares about all of us. In my own experience, he has been the sole administrative reason for my success in student council, my class government, and the Conval for Climate initiative. Not because of our other administrators weren't equipped to help, but because he was the only one with the urgency, the initiative, and the listening ear that was needed to achieve our goals. He has gone above and beyond, working tirelessly to build students up, creating a boys tennis team out of thin air, making the commencement speech at the first National Honor Society meeting, and attending the even student council meetings so that our voices could be truly heard. He is an asset to the school, and we think he should stay. These are the views of the student body. We believe that not rehiring Kevin Proctor is a mistake, and we ask that you uphold the democratic integrity of this board and fix this grave error to protect our school community and to listen to our student voices. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda Perry. I am an Antrim resident, district employee, and Conval parent. I'm here today to implore the admin and board to reconsider their actions and reinstate Kevin Proctor as athletic director. Over the many years, I have witnessed Mr. Proctor's positive impact on our community. As an Antrim resident, I have seen Proctor volunteering as an Antrim recreation coach, interacting with the community. As a parent, I have seen him lead discussions, interact with students, and be present at functions. He is an exemplar to the goals, values, missions, and visions for Conval. He exuberates positive school culture, and everywhere he goes, and we need more leaders like him. Let's send a positive message that we, as in the board, and that we hear the community's passion for this transformational leader, that we can reflect, reconsider, and reconcile this mistake, and that we value our most involved leaders by reinstating Mr. Kevin Proctor. Thank you.
Before we have another speaker for this room, I just want to check to see if there's anybody next door who would like to speak, because most of the people have been here. So just, does Tim have anybody? Yeah.
Tim has not. I think they're lining up.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Emily Daniels, and I'm a Hancock resident. I am a former student assistance counselor at Conval High School, and I'm also the parent of a current junior, Hannah Daniels, and my son, Jake Daniels, who attended Conval and graduated last year. I think what hasn't been sufficiently considered in this circumstance is the pivotal role that Kevin Proctor plays as a liaison between the Conval High School athletic program and the broader Conval athletic community. This broader athletic community consists of many sports and many organizations, clubs, rec programs, camp programs, etc. This broader athletic community isn't just about sports or about winning and losing or about developing high caliber athletes in this area. This broader athletic community is the fabric that threads together families from across our towns, from children from across ages, and a sense of pride that we are Conval. To this day, some of our closest friendships have grown and developed through our experiences on the sidelines and in the involvement with our kids through sports. Sports has been the primary way that our kids have connected with the broader Conval community. And Kevin Proctor understands this. And he understands the importance of being a liaison, threading these connections. We are proud to have Kevin Proctor tie us together, and we need him to continue to do that. As such, I plead that you please renew Kevin Proctor as the athletic director and the exceptional individual that he is. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eliza Bull. I'm a junior at Conval High School, and I reside in Francistown. I'd like to speak on behalf of the girls' soccer team, as well as the majority of the high school student body. I would just like to address the current issue of rehiring our athletic director, Kevin Proctor. While we do not know all the details of the situation, I think it's important to illuminate how much he has done for the school. Not only does he coordinate and manage all athletics and co-curriculars in an exemplar way, but he is one of a handful of teachers I've experienced who has built a positive relationship with students and makes the school environment feel safe. He is a voice for those who don't always have one and is the epitome of what the district should want as an administrator at the high school. In reference to the girls' soccer team, he has shown us support and that we matter as a team when previous athletic directors have not. In the 2 years he has been an athletic director, he has been able to bring our community together more than ever before and enforces our Cougar Care motto, so that our school can be an effective and safe place to learn. Every morning when I walk in the door, he is standing there greeting whoever walks in, no matter who they are. Letting him go is a mistake and would be incredibly disappointing to every student that walks the halls of Conval, plays on a team, is a member of a club, or an overall member of our district. Thank you for your time.
I'm Savannah. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Antrim. I'm speaking on behalf of the girls basketball team and the rest of the athletes in our school. So I woke up one morning to a petition that people had to sign for Kevin. And if I was in Kevin's position, I would not want to come back. But most people walk in the morning and he's there. He's the first person to say hi to everybody and everybody he knows and doesn't know. Kevin has grown up with most of these students, teaching them from, elementary school to middle school to high school sports. I was an athlete for Kevin for my whole career. And you guys taking him away is just gonna ruin that bond between so many people. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Raisa West and I live in Hancock. And I have sort of 3 comments about this whole situation and some questions. The first is safe sport and the NHIAA policies and mandatory education or sort of regulatory requirements. The second is what is the evaluatory rubric that was utilized to evaluate the AD position's job. And the third is the culture of community and how we value that and how our kids value that. So starting with Safe Sport, I had the unfortunate experience of having a kid in gymnastics, and USA Gymnastics would not recommend that to most folks, and a husband who is in insurance. And one of the great things that did come out of USAG is that protective framework for athletes and student athletes. If there has been such a violation, I hope that there is some appropriate communication with the community. If not, if that was not in any way a part of the decision or the decision making, I hope ethically that that is made crystal clear. This is a good man who deserves clarity in that regard. The second related to the rubric, I guess our kids have rubrics related to English, every subject under the sun. It's a great tool for communication, and it provides clarity for everyone. I, for one, am very confused about the rubric that was used to do the professional evaluation for Coach Proctor, and I'm wondering, whatever it is, where the public comment was, and I would include students in the public comment component of that. Where is I understand that we are not able to see any of the hiring records and any of that documentation. We can see the blank form publicly. 2 minutes. Thank you. I believe that the students spoke quite clearly about the culture of community, and it speaks, in my mind, to the mistake that was made, not by Coach Proctor, but the
Ma'am,
decision
that's 2 minutes.
to
I
have
can't,
him
if I do that, I have to let everybody have more. It's 2 minutes.
reclaiming my time. I'm just kidding.
They're not.
Thank you, Jacques. I appreciate it. What I was going to say about the culture of community is that we have the Conval Cares. I was using the ladies' room at the gym today, and there's the poster about character, about kindness, about cooperation and respect. And you don't need a sign to know that Proctor has actually executed that mission for the school district, because you have students here speaking with respect, speaking hopefully with kindness and appropriateness and with a measure of professionalism. And it seems as though that shows you the quality of his education and his quality as an educator. And I hope that we turn up the volume and listen to that, since that's such a clear goal that we have for Conval and for our students going through Conval. So I agree with what folks have said. We all make mistakes. And it seems as though there's been a miscommunication. And let's have a better conversation, and let's have a better conversation moving forward, so that instead of being in opposition, we can be in alignment, because the care and the devotion that people have to Coach Proctor isn't a surprise to us. The fact that there are 1,700 people who signed the petition, and that people have taken so much time out of their last few days to support this person doesn't come as a surprise to anybody who knows him. So there's a miscommunication somehow that I hope that we can do a better job of broaching and breaching. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Scott Daniels. I reside in Hancock. So when I learned of this on Friday evening, took a little bit of time to digest it. On Saturday morning, I wrote an email to my representative, Dan Harper, expressing my disappointment in this decision. It seems like in recent years, too many good staff have seemingly been let go without cause. And I understand, as an educator, a former administrator, that cause does not need to be provided to an educator when they're being let go, especially if they're in the first few years in a position or in the field. To many, Kevin was seen as the perfect person for this position. As a community member, former student athlete, longtime educator, he understands Conval. and was seen by those who are here and supporting him as doing a fantastic job. Many athletes, and I will add parents, did not feel the support prior to Kevin's appointment in the position. As a coach who worked under Kevin, I felt his vision for Conval Athletics was exactly what was needed. He was looking for coaches to build programs by connecting and supporting the efforts of organizations outside of the school district, such as Antrim Rec, Peterborough Rec, the Conval Soccer Club. He has tried to find and hire coaches who want to be part of the athletic program for the long term in order to see the vision fulfilled that he had. In my experience, having worked under different athletic directors, his vision was similar to that of Mark Swayze's, who also seemed to be unceremoniously relieved of his duties a number of years ago. Decisions like these don't help the district garner support for other proposals. Kevin's a positive, upbeat, and respected member of the community, and his loss will be felt by all of us.
Scott, that's 2 minutes.
I realize there's nothing you guys can do about it in all likelihood, but I hope you recognize the groundswell of support that's here.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Close. I know many of you. In fact, about 45 years ago, I was on a swim team with someone, and I was a paper girl over 40 years ago. And I've had many acquaintances and encounters with a number of people. You know, there's a lot of things that have already been said, but one in particular was the person that was reflective. I don't know if many of you remember Beaver Jutras, but those of you that do, and some on this board do, I would say that there's a big similarity between them. And you know what I'm speaking of when I say that, and it's not lightly said. So the other thing is I see this wonderful sign. It's a long paper trail. And so the thing about paper trails is when you have done things in the past and they seem to follow you into the future. Oh, I forgot to mention, my name is Carrie Close. I have been a part of this community for over 45 years. I am temporarily not living in the area, but I do have a child in the school system. I graduated from Conval. I also went to UNH, so a New Hampshire member. In regards to that, I also have done a number of things for the community, and I've coached. So I've known Kevin for quite a while. But the paper trail is quite lengthy. And that's one of the things I want to make sure is understood. So when things are not seen or understood by the community members, there are some of those of us that do. And I want to make sure that the board members are very well aware of that situation. And I'm not backing down when it comes to that. But you don't find somebody that will often stand up and deal with the students in the way that he has, to find respect, not just encounters, but respect for an administrator, from the kids. And that is the most important thing. So we have people that are leaving right now. Obviously, there's somewhat of an issue. But I want to make sure that people understand that this is a little bit more than is reflective. Kevin probably stood up for a few things that the board members did not appreciate, or might have disturbed things that have been set in motion that many might not understand. But I'm letting you know there is a paper trail.
Thank you.
Beaver Jutras.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Braden Boyce. I'm a sophomore at Conval High School, and I'm a resident of Peterborough, New Hampshire. I stand before you today with a simple request to please reconsider the termination of Kevin Proctor's contract as AD at Conval High School. I'm here tonight to not just speak for myself, but for the many students at Conval who were upset and confused by the decision to terminate Kevin's contract. I have had the opportunity to know Kevin for several years, and he has always presented himself with a friendly demeanor, even in challenging situations. His outgoing and helpful personality is welcoming to all students and families. And his calm and collected manner when dealing with issues is amazing. Kevin has a way of greeting all students, whether they be athletes or not, and making them feel important. I would say that helping a student feel like they belong at Conval and have a place to show their talents is one of his greatest strengths. I could go on and on about the great things Kevin has done for sports and clubs at Conval, but I think you must have a strong sense of that simply by the turnout this evening. Instead, I want to again stress my request that you consider reinstating Kevin as AD. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Ben Michaud. I'm a sophomore at Conval High School, and I am a resident of Peterborough, New Hampshire. As an athlete who plays baseball and an actor, it's easy to say that the spring season is tough for me. Spring musical on the way and baseball season just getting underway. It's been a lot, and I know that it wouldn't be possible without Kevin Proctor. I know that if he weren't there, I might not be able to do the two things that I love most in the world. And so for that, I implore you to reinstate Kevin Proctor as athletic director at Conval High School. When I was a freshman, I was asked to come film a scrimmage for the football team, and I had nowhere to go. I was lost, but there he was sitting on the bleachers, and he said, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "I'm Ben." And he said, "What are you here for?" And I said, "I'm filming this football scrimmage." And he said, "Oh, I know exactly where you need to go. Let me get you set up." And without him, I would have been a lost, scared freshman with nowhere to go on this big football field, which I'd never really been on before. And for that reason, that is why Kevin Proctor is such a great administrator at Conval High School. If we did not have him, scared freshmen would be wandering the halls of Conval, lost. It's a metaphor, it's a hyperbole, but that's the message I'm trying to send, is that Kevin Proctor is a great, great man, and I strongly, strongly implore you to reinstate him. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm a student from Conval, and I reside in Antrim. I would like to talk about how K-Proc has helped our community and how I have had such a great experience with his help. K-Proc has helped us academically and through sports. I really just love seeing K-Proc in the morning and getting a good morning and having him checking in on us. It also really just makes our day, which he is one of the only teachers who takes his time in the morning to greet students. He helped our sports team so well, and he also would spend late hours after games cleaning up fields or the gym. I think he has made such a big welcoming to freshmen and other grades who have joined the Conval community, and I hope the next freshman will get that chance too. Thank you for listening, and we hope you take this under consideration and please renew his contract. I support K-Proc.
Good evening. My name is Nichelle Zano. I am a resident of Antrim. I also happen to be Kevin's neighbor. I've also only lived in the community for less than 3 years. Before we even moved in, I heard about Kevin. That is how special this man is. The previous owners of our home informed us that with absolutely zero sarcasm, that we were getting the best neighbors we could ever ask for. And it was immediately clear who they meant without them actually saying anything to us. As soon as he saw us out in the yard with our kids, he invited us over, welcomed us to the community, asked us if there was anything we needed for us or our kids, encouraged us and offered to introduce us to people. He was also the person who showed my stepdaughter around her school when she was very nervous about moving from a different school district to live down here and go to Conval because of the opportunities and everything that this district offers. So that alone should speak to you. I didn't have to hear his name. I knew exactly who it was when he introduced himself. He has that kind of energy and that kind of presence and that kind of willingness to just invite everybody in and make sure they feel a part of something. And I can't imagine any school district choosing not to continue to have that kind of presence in their schools. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Okay, seeing none, then I'm going to close public comment and we're going to go to our board agenda. Thank you all for being here. Students, adults, thank you. Now we're going to go to our board agenda. Could I please have the approval for the manifest? We'll come back to it. What's the problem?
I certified the manifest listed below totaling $1,530,025.49 have been reviewed by me and found to be proper charges against the Catucut Valley School District for goods and or services received and have been properly processed prior to their submittal to the school board.
I move that we approve the manifest.
Can I have a second?
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Sorry, I was in the other room.
Just a moment, please. Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. The time wasn't up, so I'll certainly allow it. Go ahead, 2 minutes, please.
I'll take less than.
Okay. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Sure. I'm JP Bernier. Mic on? JP Bernier from Hancock. To talk about Kevin, there's only one thing to say, is that Kevin is Conval. Period. It seems that over the past while, Conval has become a shadow of what it once was. We've lost many administrators and teachers over these past years that were important to the student body, important to the community. This all comes from leadership. It starts at the top and it rolls downhill. I think it's time that that's examined. Thank you.
Next Monday, there's the solar eclipse. Next Monday is the solar eclipse viewing at the high school on the 8th at 2:30 p.m. And there's 250 glasses donated by UNH for students to view the event. On Monday, 13 seniors were honored at the Scholar Athlete event. And then last weekend, there was a Hobie event at the high school where there was a community workshop for students to work on their leadership skills to bring back to their schools and community. Yesterday, there was a boys baseball scrimmage and a girls tennis match. And on Friday, there's a boys tennis match, home versus Kingswood.
Thank you, Lucy. Superintendent, points of pride, please.
Sure. So at Antrim Elementary School, a few students have decided to use their writing skills to write persuasive essays to Mrs. Gibney in hopes to make real changes in their school. The students are writing multi-paragraph essay-style letters to put forward their points to make changes to their recess. At Dublin Community Schools, students and their families thoroughly enjoyed their One School, One Book read of the Mouse and the Motorcycle. Thanks so much to teacher Heather Fletcher for coordinating this community read that included a scavenger hunt around town. At Francistown Elementary School, they hosted a math night on March 27th, featuring various activities for families. The PTO collaborated with Rick and Diane's for a pizza party to begin the evening. Attendees rotated through different classrooms, engaging in activities such as navigating a math obstacle course, solving laser mazes, board games that calculated the distance from the East Coast to the West Coast, and measuring the distance traveling by flying fuzzies launched with catapults. The March Madness month at GES has been an amazing way to encourage the love of learning. Many families came out for Literacy Night, where they were able to see students' work showcased and connect with community members such as the Harris Center, the Town Library, and Cornucopia. At Hancock Elementary School, they wrapped up their March Reading Challenge on Friday with a very great celebration. Each student had made a goal and tracked their minutes, their pages, or number of books they read. They also had teachers make their own personal goal along with some classroom goals. For example, kindergarten set a goal to read a total of 3,000 minutes. They even exceeded it. Hancock also completed their school mosaic during the week of March 18th during their artist in residency. They received 43 designs, and final design was created by fourth grader Nora Flamino. The mosaic includes our Husky mascot along with other representations of the community and is currently mounted outside the main office. Temple Elementary School has extended its school club offerings. Kindergartners and first and second graders have been participating in a craft club that meets every Tuesday after dismissal. Third and fourth graders, also with the help of a few TES teachers and community volunteers, have been learning to crochet on Tuesdays as well. And finally, at Great Brook School, on Friday, March 22nd, the GBS Drama Club presented Time Detectives for a standing room only audience at the Lucy Hurlin Theater. The students' performance did not disappoint as their hard work and skills were on display for all who attended. And those are our points of pride.
Selectmen Advisory Committee, I was the board rep at the meeting, and the selectmen discussed the results of the vote. And we also discussed about representation on the study committee, and that really was what the meeting was about. And there's nothing further to report about that. And they will let us know who the representatives will be from their communities. Consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. Superintendent's report. We originally were going to have Dean here tonight, but we're going to move that to our second meeting in April. Superintendent?
Okay, so we have the monthly events calendar, which is on page 6 and 7. I know that Dick is giving you your board assignments, so I'll need to know when those first meetings are going to be so we can get our calendar ready. And at present, there are no outstanding school board requests unless you tell me otherwise. On pages 8 and 9, tomorrow is the Ed 306 hearing at the State Board of Ed for New Hampshire. I have provided talking points for you. The proposed revisions potentially will decrease opportunities for our students. They will increase inequities between districts. They will lower standards for schools, for students, and for teachers. They will increase economic pressure on the local communities. And so I would encourage the board members who can, or community members who can, to please consider attending tomorrow's state school board meeting. The Ed 306s are the backbone of our educational standards. This is a significant attempt to drastically lower those standards. Okay, so moving on to the feasibility. That door can't be shut. I'm sorry.
Kimberly, so we can update your calendar. I'm just going to have the people who are presently on the committees just to come up with a date. Once you have your meeting, you could go ahead and pick your chairman. So,
could we ask that you continue to not use Wednesdays, as that has kind of been the sacred time for people to make like dental appointments and other appointments that they need to make. So,
Jim, budget and property.
Can we ask the budget property member committee is the second prior to the second board meeting on the third Tuesday of the month is okay?
So the meeting would be on the 16th?
16th at 5:45. That's what we've been doing.
Is that 5:40? Can you make that work?
And Aaron?
And will we do that moving forward?
Yes.
Sorry.
I think so.
So I just want to.
No, you're okay with that?
Policy, Aaron?
We had been meeting on the fourth Tuesday at 6.
Yep.
if I can make a request that we push that to 6:30, but still do the fourth Tuesday of the month, does that work for people?
So 6:30?
6:30?
And then you guys can decide there whether you want us to stay with that, whatever this, okay.
Yeah,
just so
as
you
long
get-
as that works for Janine too, then
Sure.
we'll
Yep.
say the fourth Tuesday
Very
at
good.
6:30.
Jim, does that work for you too?
It should work as well.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's
Kim.
okay.
SOC will say the same, and communication and SOC, we'll discuss that later and what the possibilities of whether they're going to continue or not. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. What else you got?
In your folders, you should have found a letter regarding the feasibility study. Right now. So one of the things that you,
It's okay.
I got it, it's right here. It's after my. Attachment. So you need to tell, so this is the language that I am recommending to you, having worked with council to develop it. And you need to tell me when you would like to have the first meeting, which it should be in your green folder. If not, it is in yeah. Yeah. So I need the date that you want to have the first meeting, which will help me better understand when you want me to ask the select boards to have the information by. And so when do you want to have that first meeting? I would emphasize that it is not a drawn out process. This is a fast process so the sooner that meeting happens, the better.
It's happened by May 20th?
That's correct.
So do you have a recommendation on the earliest we could start forward?
I would not go past the first week in May.
So do you want to start before then? Does that make sense? You have a better handle on the time frame.
I think that, I think trying to start before then is probably a bit much as we
Start
get the
with
board. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to do this, and maybe we could make it the first Thursday of each month. There's
Okay.
nothing else on that day,
How
right?
about May 2nd, the first Thursday of the month? And that will require board members from each of the communities to be part of this process. So would be May 2nd. Yeah. Dan?
I just have a question. Are all the board members expected and all the selectmen expected, or is it Dublin and Francistown?
No, it is.
Those that are bringing the.
One board member from each community.
And
then
one select board
And
member.
a select board member from each community.
Each community. Okay, thank you.
Okay. In some cases, there's no choices here.
I guess I'm really looking to the board. Will the first Thursday of each month work for most of you?
Sure. I want to go to,
Friday.
no, you don't want to do it on
Is there any
Friday.
option for attending remotely, like conference call?
No.
How about?
There will be no remote meetings.
May 2nd then.
Could you? Oh, you don't want to do it.
Or do you want to do it prior to the Selectmen's Advisory Committee?
Sure. Why don't we do that?
So that will make it
Because some of them are gonna have to be here anyway.
right.
How about if we look at April 25th and prior to the Selectmen Advisory meeting, because they're gonna have to be here anyway. Well, that's a Thursday. That doesn't help us with if Tom wants to be on this.
No, but that does help us with the select.
Yes, it does. Okay, well.
So what, 6
yes,
o'clock?
6 o'clock on the 25th of April for the first meeting? First meeting. Does that work for board members?
Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, and so I am going to, as long as it's okay with you, I'm going to say then that they need to let me know by April 15th who the select board member will be from their town. And we'll go from there. And so as long as you're okay, I'll add those pieces and have Dick sign this and send it to the select boards.
Everybody okay with that? I'm not seeing any rejections. Okay, thank you.
So there's, because that's never happened before, we are looking into that. We think that we'll be able to bifurcate the agenda in a way that we'll be able to do both at the same time. So we'll spend X amount of time on, yes, yep. But part of that is because so much of the information that they'll be requesting would be the same.
CTE job description, second read, adoption. So, we have to vote on this job description. This is a second read.
Being new.
Jim? Yep.
Yeah, so I would like to understand the position. There seem to be no specifics about a particular technological education skill in it. Is it just a generic?
So we have yes, we have a generic teacher description, and then we add other descriptions into it as we go. But this one hasn't been approved yet, so yes, but it's not the same generic one as a teacher.
Okay.
So yes.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve the CTE job description?
I move,
Been moved
I'll second that.
and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. All right, thank you. Alan, Strategic Organization Committee update discussion.
As everybody knows, the vote was not positive. We got 2/3 of the vote that we needed to pass what we were doing. And what we've talked about is the Strategic Organization Committee will take a back seat to the feasibility study that has to be done, because we don't believe we can do both at the same time. And I think the work of the Strategic Organization Committee, which was done by the members, was fantastic. There's a lot of hard work done, a lot of information, a lot of communication going, and it was actually a very, very interesting time. And were there some mistakes made? Yeah. But from an overall standpoint, I think we did what we needed to do. We had a lot of community involvement, a lot of community input, and the vote was the vote. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Alan. Jim?
I understand that.
Mike, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you tell me what the dates were, please?
Sure, I have a memorandum for the record I'd like to submit to the members of the board, and I'll be happy to submit that electronically to everyone, describing the communications that went on.
That's mine.
So in this memorandum to the record, I was troubled by the series of emails that went out involving all members of the Conval School Board over the period between the 20th and 27th. Public trust of this school board is paramount, and I think that that's been breached by these emails, and I don't have any idea how long these types of communications have been tolerated. But as a board member, it's my duty to bring them forward to the board and the public when I see them. As a young lieutenant of Marines, part of my duties included investigating and developing the facts surrounding potential violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and while this isn't that, it is an RSA. And then presenting those facts to the commanding officer, judge advocate, in as unbiased a manner as I possibly could. And I've tried to follow those tenets that I was trained in a long time ago while developing this brief to the board. And those that voted for us deserve no less. And what follows is a presentation to the board of findings of fact and analysis of those facts. And I've prepared those much as an investigator would present information to council. Yes, ma'am?
Sorry, I have to wait for the chair too. I'm trying to get the chair direct.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Superintendent.
So, do you have, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass this to our council. Do you have those emails, Jim, that you
They
can?
are attached.
They're attached? Okay,
to
thank
this
you very much.
body.
Yep.
In summary, it was Mr. Edelkin's emails were addressed to the entire board individually rather than blind copied. And then there was a response to those emails that was also addressed to the entire body individually in the to line rather than blind copied. That in and of itself constitutes two-way communication and a discussion because there was opinions passed, not just information. There was also information in the first email that Mr. Edelkin had conversations with other board members on this subject. And he doesn't tell us how many board members he discussed this with, but if it were 6 or more other than himself, that would have constituted a quorum. And if any of those that he did have discussions went on and discussed it with other members of the board members, that spider webbing out of the discussions means we constituted a quorum and we had unlawful communications outside of the meeting. Whether that happened or not, the fact that the two-directional conversation happened with opinions being passed constitutes a discussion, and we had unlawful communications outside of the meeting. I think it's important to air this, and I think it's important that at a minimum, the board be presented with remedial training on right to know law and how emails, electronic communications, what constitutes a meeting and what doesn't in this state.
Thank you, Jim. Aaron? Kimberly, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So and I have not seen this yet, nor am I sure that I am CC'd on the communication, so I don't have the communications. But I will forward this to our council and be sure that Dean, since he's going to be here next week, covers the right to know extensively.
Okay, and I'll be happy to forward you this electronically so that you have it.
So we had two ad hoc subcommittees. We had communications and strategic planning. Those are ad hocs. At this point, I don't see a need for us to continue with those ad hoc committees. We can bring them back if we need to. But at this point, I'd like the board to give permission to not continue with those committee assignments, and we'll just bring them back if we need them at another date. Do we need a motion to discontinue a committee?
So we've had two ad hoc committees, so the board needs to vote to dissolve those.
All right, could I have a motion to dissolve the two committees?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded by Bill. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Okay, thank you. That'll take committee assignments away from. MS 22 signing. MS 22 signing.
So Brian has the MS-22, so we're going to pass that around. If you could please sign that. Thank you very much. Here of one side, so that's all. And then we.
Give me a moment and I'll sign this and pass it on. This is just the one page.
Do you want me to start talking about single tier busing?
Single tier busing, yes, please.
Okay, so Brian worked with our transportation provider to talk about single tier busing. He met with Amy, and STA is estimating that the total additional expense for a single tier busing system would be $799,510.20. They feel that it would be a challenge, and there'd be a need for drivers, and it's the drivers that would increase that price. The single tier bus obviously would allow us to move the time of the high school to a more reasonable time for our adolescent students. What our concerns are about, we've had a number of different conversations about flipping that time. And concerns regarding that are having small children outside, particularly on our back roads when it is dark in the morning. We shouldn't have our teenagers out there either. Sorry, that was editorial. Anyway, so that's something the board asked us to bring that. That is the price. It's certainly something that we are getting ready to do a bus RFP for transportation that we want to put out. I think I would suggest to the board that this would be something that they would want to add to the RFP and say that this is one of the things that we want to try to do. So I'm happy to take questions.
Greg?
So my understanding is in the past, our current vendor has not used routing software to do best routes. Was routing software used to do this? So in other words, we're still going with the same old, which we've acknowledged is suboptimal at best.
Superintendent?
So at the board's direction, we could contract with somebody to do that work.
Could we also put in the RFP that we put going forward for the next contract that the bus company that we hire has to use such software so that we can actually get the most bang for our buck, as opposed to someone looking at a map and saying, this looks pretty good? Because I see some of these buses, I follow them to work, and a bus stopping every 20 feet. I'm sorry. My kids had to walk, a quarter mile to the bus stop, and they survived. I'm not sure why we had to have a bus stop every 25 feet.
I can absolutely make sure that that's part of the RFP. My comment was much more about the fact that we could actually hire somebody to do that now, to bring in software and look at that outside of our present bus company. It will cost us money.
So I'm hoping that I had a hard time with that price, looking at single tier busing and saying it was going to cost that much more when you're talking about running one route instead of two. So I think it would be beneficial for the board to authorize the superintendent to come back with a recommendation of having somebody else take a look at this single tier busing and come back with a quote and see what they would have to say. So Jim, and then Jim Frederickson.
Yeah, it is a shocking number. And you really have to question whether what will soon be $1 million, it's 800,000 now, soon $1 million is really worth it to put everyone on buses at the same time. I don't think we buy anything by optimizing our routes for this year, but in the 24-25 school year and making that part of the RFP makes sense. It also makes sense to have single tier busing quoted as an option so that we have the alternative to choose either of those when we get the response back.
Thank you. Jim Frederickson?
Do we have an idea what the estimate is to do this study? Any ballpark?
No, but I can certainly put some fillers out and find out pretty quickly.
She'll come back to us and give us what it would
What you
cost.
want.
And then the board can authorize the expenditure. Mike?
It's more, so first of all, we shouldn't have to double the routes theoretically, but I just want to clarify that we don't get charged for routes that don't run. The problem, the reason that we're spending additional dollars is not because of that, it's because of the price we have in the contract for busing and the price that it's costing us to contract out. The difference in that price is why we're having to spend more money on transportation. We're not pay, I just want to make sure people know we don't pay for the route that doesn't run. Okay. Yeah, yep.
Aaron and then Greg.
So my question is, obviously, this is what they're quoting us for adding additional buses, but is there any cost savings to not running multiple routes with the single buses that we currently have?
Yeah, that's why I questioned their number. Didn't make sense to me. So, yeah. Greg?
And when does the current contract expire? So is the RFP for the 24-5 or is it for 25-6?
Brian?
25, 26.
Thank you.
And a lot of the numbers, the additional buses were because of the amount of kids that are scheduled to be on the bus. You can only hold so many on a bus, and that's why, like, for example, there are small towns that we only run one bus. We add a few more on, we may have to get 2 buses. That's part of it, not all of it, but I just wanted to know that's a factor.
So, go ahead.
Okay. Might take me more than one meeting to do that.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yep. Last day of school. Don't we wish we knew when that was going to be?
Okay, last day of school. So my suggestion, I came prepared to ask for the last day of school, and we would have been good to go to the Friday, and we would have been okay for hours. If we get one more snow day, that will still be true. If we get 2, we're not in good shape. So when I don't call school tomorrow, or I wait until like 5:30 in the morning, it's because I'm really hoping we're coming to school tomorrow and that we're not having school on Thursday. But so if we have 1, we should be fine. If we have 2, so it's what do you want to do? Do you want to set the last day and gamble? If we don't have enough hours, we absolutely have to take another day. Or do you want to wait until the next meeting? Yep. Okay, but I'm going to call you at 4:00 tomorrow morning.
My recommendation to the board is we can wait till April, yes?
We can. I just, parents, it's just that time of year. We don't usually.
Well, we take a gamble. And if you're willing to gamble that we'll probably have school tomorrow and not Thursday, we can always call on Representative from Croucher Mountain to tell us what the snow will be. But Jim, then Greg.
Yeah.
So
So why don't we as a board approve the last day of school contingent upon no snow day tomorrow? That way she could
Sure. Greg?
save 2 weeks.
And have we set graduation yet, more importantly?
Yeah, we
Yes,
did that.
which
Okay.
is actually making me nervous too, because if we go past the 18th, we actually have to change graduation, which we're not changing. So we're not going past the 18th of June, just so everyone knows. Not going to happen.
So, Mike?
Thursday. Yep. Yeah, no. Okay.
I think it makes sense to wait until the next meeting.
My sense is that maybe we should wait till our next board meeting. Although we can make the contingent that the superintendent could post the last day based off from the hours and what we could do, or it could authorize you to do that.
You mean? You mean, oh, you want me to, then I could post it? I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love that. So Perfect. So I could post it on Monday based on what happens this week?
Yes.
If you would like me to do that and you were going to give me permission to do that, I am happy to do so.
Just give me a thumbs up if you're all set with that. All right, there you go.
I think you need to make a motion because that's really
Okay.
outside my.
Could I have a motion, please?
I
So
move. I'll second it. Sorry.
Jim moved it and Aaron seconded it and everybody voted in favor. Have you got that, Brenda? Authorizing? Oh, it's- yes.
Whether we have 2 snow days or not.
Well, the number of snow days make a difference. So anyway,
So on Monday, I'm gonna be able to set the day is what you want me to do.
Yes.
Perfect.
Second.
got that, Brenda, does that work? Okay. Food, any other questions here? All right. Food service, recommendation. This is, Brian?
Our food, every 5 years by law, we're required to go out and bid our food service management contract. Our bid went out, after your approval between January 10th and March 13th. We had 2 bids. One bid was Fresh Picks, which is our current vendor. The other, bidder was the Abbey Group. Both came, we did a site walk, actually with multiple companies, actually went pretty smoothly. When we came back with the bids and we looked them over, our current vendor, Fresh Picks, actually came out on top with a smaller subsidy. Also, they are willing to invest up to $37,500 in new or replacement equipment for our kitchens. And they also supply an additional van, which, those are 2 things that, the Abbey Group did not. So with the savings of about, $40,000 the first year. So I do recommend, Fresh Picks based upon those.
I make a motion that we accept Mr. Cisneros' recommendation of Fresh Picks.
That a motion? Can I have a second?
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded. Questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you. Request to accept a gift. Greenfield Elementary School requests authorization to accept $1,560.04 from the Greenfield Elementary School PTO for the purpose of paying half portions of the NHDI residency program. Could I have a motion to,
I move that we allow for the acceptance of the gift of $1,560.04 to the Greenfield Elementary School from the Greenfield Elementary PTO for paying half portion of NHDI residency program.
second? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you. Field trip request approval. Conval High School grades 11 through 12. Students request to travel to Washington DC from June 27th to July 1st, 2024 to participate in the Educators Rising National Conference. Could I have a motion to approve this field trip?
I move that we approve the field trip for Sarah Grossi and the Educators Rising program to Washington DC from June 27th through July 1st of this year.
Second? Tom, question?
Yeah, I just had a question about, it says number of staff 1, and whenever we went on a field trip, we were always required to have at least 2 adults on the trip, so I just had a question about that.
So there's one, so Sarah is taking 5 students. Certainly if the board, we don't require that, but certainly if the board wants to do that, that's their prerogative.
It's not a policy that it's
Our
required.
policy does
Okay.
not require it, requires 1 for every 10 students.
Jim?
Are all those students going female?
I don't have the list of students. I can certainly find that out. I do believe, that 1 is a male, if if my memory serves me. Is Heather here? One is a male.
The concern always is if the one person gets incapacitated in some way, or there's an emergency with one of the students, and then you have to not be available to the other students. So that was That's just the question I had when I saw it was just one staff member.
I'm finding out right now if perhaps Ms. Grassi is being, if Mr. Grassi is also going. We don't necessarily list that person, the spouse, as a chaperone, but she went to find out, so. Move on to the next thing until.
Purchase, recommendation, Superintendent?
Actually, I've got Mr. Schaub here.
So this purchase recommendation is for up to 150 access points. We're replacing a model that we currently have in place that has gone end of life. The access points were bid out through the E-rate process, which we do on an annual basis, and it's a sort of a federal program that gives us a reimbursement on this purchase amount based off of our free and reduced numbers. So we purchase through the E-rate process. I think it's typically around 40 or 50% of a reimbursement through that. So we bid that out. The low vendor here was WCA, and that is our recommendation.
Right.
I move we go with the recommendation to go with WCA.
So if your motion to approve the expenditure of $45,450 for the purchase of access points and a one-year license. Any questions?
Yeah.
Jim?
So this year, fiscal year, next fiscal year?
So that's actually the second thing for this, is that we're actually using past E-rate reimbursement funds to make this purchase. So we would request a board approval for expenditure of the E-rate funds for this.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the purchase indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you.
So I've just been made aware that that is actually an all-girl, there's all-girl young women going on that trip. So that, and no, Mr. Grassi is not planning on attending. You can certainly either ask for 2 chaperones or approve it as it is. Or you can wait, it is a July 27th, so we can wait till the next meeting.
Tom?
Well, if that is our policy, maybe, and it's already in place and it's based on the current policy, but I would like to revisit that in the future about whether we want to continue that approach of not having a second adult there.
Get that? So I think the policy chair is, or the previous policy chair is sitting next to you and is writing that down.
Any other questions on the motion for the field trip to Washington? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. All right, thank you, that's approved. That one's taken care of. At this point in the agenda is a second opportunity for public comment. We can authorize up to 30 minutes as a board. We've done 30, but I will certainly entertain another 15 minutes of public comment if there are people who would like to speak to the board. Sure, John.
There's Mr. Grassi, but sorry, I know you're about ready to go into public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, John.
I just need an authorization from the board to spend that E-rate money, please. The E-rate money that's going to be used to purchase you approved the purchase, you didn't approve the funds.
I move that we use the E-rate funds.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you. Okay, John.
John Wood, Dublin. First, I want to make a comment that April 25th, the first feasibility study committee meeting is on the Thursday of spring break, which also could impact the public's ability to attend said committee meetings due to the fact that that was a pre-scheduled holiday event for the school district. Second, RSA 189.6, transportation of pupils. The local school district shall furnish transportation to pupils in kindergarten through grade 8 who live more than 2 miles from the school to which they are assigned. It does not specify that any grades 9 through 12 are required, or it says as appropriate. I would like the school board to know that simply moving grades 5 and 6 back to the elementary schools would put multiple children within the 2 mile radius of their school. This would give parents the ability to drive their children to elementary school versus going to Great Brook or SMS. This could also potentially reduce the cost of busing and enable school start times to be later. The RSA does not specify that the school district and or the busing cannot set up school bus stops in multiple central locations. It simply says that you have to provide transportation. Spending $800,000 to create a single-tier busing system seems absolutely ludicrous to try to save an hour and a half of children's sleep time. There's got to be more creative ways that the school board and administration can come up with a way to solve the problem of school start times. Thank you.
My name is Will McPhee. I am a resident of Peterborough. I wanted to just further the overwhelming support earlier of Kevin Proctor as athletic director, hoping that there could be a reverse decision with regards to his contract. I'm a former player of his from before he was athletic director. And I just know from that and from coming back as an alum, seeing him at the games, seeing his passion for the role, his remarkable character and ability to foster that character in young people in this district, as you could see with all the people here earlier speaking and standing in his favor. Thank you for all you do as the board and for your time listening today.
Thank you, Will.
Nathan Clonell, resident of Greenfield. There was a Ledger article that was published about the Kevin Proctor situation yesterday that indicated that the district was planning on releasing a longer statement tonight. So I just ask that you guys make clear where that statement is and how we can access that. Thank you.
Do you want me to address that?
Sure.
So I did actually email Jessica Timmons asking her where she got that information. At no point, we did respond. Yes, I emailed you today and said, I don't know where you got that information. That I responded yesterday, and there was no additional response for that. Nope. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Sorry. Okay, I'll reach out to him because that was not a conversation I had with him.
We're not aware of any statements being made. I said at the beginning. Anyone else? Mike, you speak as a member of the community.
Michael Hoyt Bennington. I'm actually reading a note from Amanda Hinton, who is a high school teacher and coach. I've been a high school math teacher for 17 years and a softball, volleyball, and basketball coach for 38 seasons. I've worked with 4 different athletic directors in my time here as a coach, and I want to start by saying that no other athletic director has put in the time and energy into supporting the teams that Kevin has. We're the only inside fall team, and Kevin makes sure to be at as many games as possible. He helps with the clock when needed, and he steps in to ensure that everything is running smoothly. Homecoming game was on Kevin's birthday, and he told the girls, "There is no place that I would rather be celebrating my birthday than right here in the gym with you." In the spring, he came to numerous games, which included both our first and second round playoff softball games, the latter which was in Kingswood with only 30-degree weather. But he stood on the sideline to show his support for Conval athletics. He makes sure to attend every senior night and every athletic event that happens, that he's able to support the Conval student athletes, as well as craft fairs, concerts, theater productions, etc. He's passionate about Conval athletics and about helping the entire Conval community grow. I feel athletics and activities would continue to grow with his presence. It is for these reasons and so many more that I hope you'll reconsider the decision and keep Kevin Proctor on as the Conval Athletic Director. Amanda Hinton.
Hi, my name's Doug McPhee. I'm a Peterborough resident. My son Will was up here earlier, but this is unrehearsed. I just want to say that I have coached high school. I coached at Messina several seasons. I've seen ADs come and go. I've seen ADs come here. I've seen all types of coaches, and I've learned from a really good coach. I know what to look for in coaching. Kevin is a great coach, but beyond that, Kevin is an impeccable person. I mean, the people have echoed it, but he's an outstanding man of character who is the kind of person that should be exposed to our children, because there's so many things that pull them away from good character. And he's a person that exemplifies what a good human is, and what a good coach and what a good leader is. So I just want to say that he's an outstanding individual. I've just seen him at different angles. I sat in practices. I've gone to our games. I've seen him. I watch his girls play and him coach. He's an outstanding person. So letting him go is a blow to the community, and his character is. I can't speak more highly of his character, and having that go from this community is a shame. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward? Okay, do we have another? Can I have a motion to go in non-public? Go, please. Under RSA 91-A:3, Common Roman 2, we move to go into non-public. Dick? All right, we're officially in non-public. Thank you.